In this video, I'm going to explain how to multiply using a ratio table. When you multiply using a ratio table, you're building groups of numbers to find an answer. And if you like to skip count, this is very similar. So this might be a strategy that you would love. So I'm going to show you a few different examples. For the first one here, I'm going to use a simple number just to kind of show you the steps. And then our problems are going to get gradually more difficult. So we'll start with 3 times 10. So the way that you would set up a ratio table for this, is you would first just write the numbers out, 1 through 3, for this first digit here, okay? Then over on the other side, you're going to start with the number 10. And if this number here was, let's say this 3 was an 8, for example, we would number this all the way down to 8. But since this number is just 3, we're only going to 3 here, okay? And then for 10, we'll start with 10 over here. And then there's basically 2 different ways you can look at this. You could look at this as 1 times 10 equals 10. And then 2 times 10 equals, and then whatever that is. And then 3 times 10, and then whatever that is. And those numbers would go here and here. Or you can think about it as 10 plus 10, which is 20. And then 20 plus 10, which is 30. So you're skip counting by 10 over here. See, 10, 20, 30. And 1 times 10 is 10. And 2 times 10 is 20. And 3 times 10 is 30. So it's as easy as that. So the answer here is 3 times 10 equals 30. So A equals 30, okay? So that's our first example. It's a little bit more simple than some of the problems you'd be doing, especially in 4th grade, but I'm going to show you some problems that may be more similar to what you're working on in class. We're going to start though with a 1-digit by 2-digit number. That means we have one number by a number with 2 different numbers in it. The word digit just means number. This is the word digit. It just means a number. So 1-digit number by 2-digit number, okay? We'll start there. So the first thing we have here is 9. So if our first number there is 9, that means we're going to number this side here all the way to 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So we labeled all the way down our first side of our ratio table with the number 9. Then you're going to start counting up by 14. So we'd start with 14, obviously. And then there's those 2 different ways of looking at it, right? We can look at it like 1 times 14 equals 14. Oops. We could think about it as 2 times 14, and then 3 times 14, 4 times 14, and then 5 times 14. And I'll just keep going here. Now, I always think it's a good idea to do both strategies, even if maybe you prefer one over the other, just because if you always do this with multiplying and adding on the both sides, it'll be a really great way to double check your work. Okay, so 2 times 14 is 28. And then 3 times 14 is 42. And then 4 times 14 is 56. 5 times 14 is 70. 6 times 14 is 84. 7 times 14 is 98. 8 times 14 is 112. And 9 times 14 is 126. Okay, so really we just skip counted 14, 28, 42, 56. Let's just skip counting by 14. Or you could think of it as 14 plus 14 would give us 28. And then the same thing over and over again. Plus 14 would give us 42. Plus 14 would give us 56. You're just taking this answer and you're adding 14. And then this answer and you're adding 14. And this answer and you're adding 14. And this answer and you're adding 14. And so on and so on. And so then our final answer here, because our problem was 9 times 14. So we're going to go down to our 9 times 14 is 126. So that means that B equals 126. See that? It's our last row here. 9 times 14, 126. Okay? All right, last but not least, we're going to do the same thing over here. And this is a 2-digit or a 2-digit number. That means that we have both of our numbers have 2 digits. See, 1 and an 8 and a 1 and a 2. So 2 digits by 2-digit number, okay? So we're going to start by numbering this side all the way down 1 through 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. We will extend our ratio table line here. Okay. So now we have it labeled 1 through 18 because we're going to be counting by 12, 18 times, right? So we'll start with, oh, and you know what, actually, we can, just to kind of keep it a little simple, it doesn't matter if you go either direction. So I'm going to show you, we've been doing it 18 by 12. I'm going to show you that you can actually do it both ways because multiplication is multiplicative, which means, and commutative, which means you can go both ways. Commutative means you can multiply 12 by 18 or 18 by 12, and you're going to get the same answer both times. Okay, so I'm going to show you that even though we have 18 on this side, we could even just multiply 12 and count by 18. It works both directions. So I'm just going to show you it the opposite way this time, just so you know and you remember that you can do it both ways. Okay, so now we're going to, we have 1 through 12 here. And we're going to count by 18 this time. So we're going to go a little bit different. So we're going to start with 18. And then, because you're always starting with 1, because 1 times 18 is going to give you 18, right? So we're going to start by thinking of 1 times 18 equals 18. 2 times 18. 3 times 18. 4 times 18. 5 times 18. 6 times 18. 7 times 18. 8 times 18. 'Finally, so see, we just went 1 through 12, okay? So now, 2 times 18 is 36. 3 times 18 is 54. 4 times 18 is 72. 5 times 18 is 90. 6 times 18 is 108. 7 times 18 is 126. 8 times 18 is 144. 9 times 18 is 162. 10 times 18 is 180. And what I like to do is when I'm doing these, when I get to numbers that I know in my head that like really quickly, like 18 times 10, I just can think of really fast is 180. That's a good way to just double check you're on the right track and you didn't make any mistakes along the way. 11 times 18 is 198. And then 12 times 18 is 216. Now, if these numbers just feel too hard to do in your head really fast like that, you can go back to the other strategy of just 18 plus 18 plus 18 will give you this. 54 plus 18 will give you 72. 72 plus 18 will give you 90. 90 plus 18 will give you 108. 108 plus 18 will give you 126. 126 plus 18 will give you 144. 144 plus 18 will give you 162. 162 plus 18 will give you 180. 180 plus 18 will give you 198. 198 plus 18 will give you 126, which is the same thing as 12 times 18, which means our answer to 12 times 18 is 216. So C equals 216. All right, that's 3 different problems using a ratio table. If you'd like a specific problem solved, go ahead and leave that in the comments, or if you have any other questions or notes for me, you can leave them there as well.